I'm Nick Biscotti. I'm a physician. I'm a surgeon. Practice out of Summa Health Systems. I first got to know Dr. Hirsh about 12 years ago.
I lived in Summit County, so I did most of my work at Akron City Hospital. And while I was there, I met Dr. Richard Hirsh.
I came up to meet Dr. Hirsh. I knew of him through his mission trips.
Definitely will say to me, Dr. Hirsh is a good friend. He's a people person. He is a person who, when we had our downtimes, he was an excellent entertainer.
Dick is very focused, he is compassionate, and deeply committed to saving lives.
My field of work as a specialty is breast imaging. I am a diagnostic radiologist.
Breast cancer is one of the leading causes of cancer death for women in developing countries, and early detection of disease can lead to life-saving treatment. But mammography, routinely available today in the U.S., is out of reach for so many women around the world. Dr. Richard Hirsh, a practicing radiologist who focuses his practice on diagnostic radiology, had the skills to do something about it. Little did he know when he began his career that he would be taking the professional skills he honed in Akron, Ohio, on a greater mission, to help underserved women around the world. His dedication to helping others exemplifies the Judaic principle of Tikkun Olam, a concept which suggests Jewish people's shared responsibility to literally repair the world and make it a better place.
Typically in developing countries, screening is not a regular medical procedure. We're accustomed to it here in the United States and in the West in general, but the whole philosophy of screening simply does not exist.
I first learned about his efforts to give back, his belief in humanitarianism works, after a trip to Israel in 1986. And during that visit, we spoke with a nurse, personal friend, who explained that opportunities for nurses to further their training and their education were so severely limited, unlike opportunities for physicians. And so that got the ball rolling in Dick's head, and shortly thereafter he established the Solomon Hirsh Nursing Education Fund, which brings nurses to the United States and Canada to further their education.
He developed RMI, Radiology Mammography International. He has been all over the world. He gets brand new mammography equipment donated to take to these third world countries where they might not have the technology to do mammography. And he has spread that throughout the world.
He enjoys a good challenge and 500-piece puzzles which are constantly in motion, which is how I describe his missions.
My first mammography mission with Dr. Hirsh was to Kosovo in August of 2010. It was quite an experience. I'd never been across the ocean before, and to teach them mammography was an awesome experience. They were so thankful. The patients came in thanking us for coming, thanking us for teaching, and they were very respectful. And we took technology to that country that had never been there before.
I think that Dick's humanitarian work and his outreach has influenced both myself and our two daughters, and both of them have had opportunities to travel with him and to participate in the missions. We have grown together as a family through all of this work, and I know it's inspired them in the life choices that they've made.
Dick is generous, very generous, and you can be generous in many ways: time, talent, and treasure. And he's generous with all three. I can vouch for that. As far as tenacity goes, once Dick gets an idea and he decides he's going to do something, he's like that Jack Bull Terrier that grabs your leg. He's not going to let go until it's done.
My first mission with him to Nicaragua was to a town called Leon, and we were ready to do our mission, and we found out that the x-ray equipment that we had assigned to this mission trip hadn't shown up. So for the next 2 days, Dr. Hirsh and I spent many hours talking to the people, the government officials in Nicaragua, where was the equipment? Where was the mammography equipment? We go from one warehouse, which they call bodega in Spanish, to another bodega, looking for this x-ray equipment, could not find it. At that point in time, basically the mission was a wash. So the following day, Dr. Hirsh sent 4 of us from Lyon back to Managua, and our mission was to go to several different hospitals and see whether or not we could actually do something beneficial to help them at. We spent the rest of the mission trip there, and it was an absolutely successful mission trip. And it was interesting because once we left the town, they started calling people and telling people that these Americans are coming in here to help out. They broadcast this all over the radio. We had, I don't know, hundreds of women coming in for mammograms. We spent the next day just late into the evening doing one mammogram after another. So even though our mission trip to Lyon was a complete wash, Dr. Hirsh, knowing that we had this whole team of people who had, basically everybody gives of their time. We had 2 weeks to do something. He took us from Lyon back to Managua, and we had a very successful mission trip there.
Dick is so passionate about what he does that we actually walked out of a hospital one time because they were not playing by the rules and not really dedicated to what the mission was to do what was best for the women in that community. And I'll never forget that. When your whole team gets up and walks out in protest, that means you're very dedicated to the mission.
To me, Dr. Hirsh is a person who has, he knows what he wants to do. He's very dedicated in getting it done. He's very resourceful in making sure that, he has the proper people, he has the proper equipment.
The Jewish community in Akron has been a truly supportive and heartwarming and loving experience for me. And in all honesty, I don't exaggerate those words. We pick our friends and our friends pick us, and it just turns out that the friends that we have picked have maintained and helped sustain us in our lives. I think it's most important for me to express my heartfelt thanks for being selected to receive this Tikkun Olam honor. The fact that I've been chosen to receive it is a very emotional, a very joyful experience for me, and I thank you again. I thank you all again.
You have honored us and me personally with including me in your missions, and I want to say thank you from myself and from all the women of the world. Thank you.
I'd like to say 3 things. Way to go, you deserve it, and God bless you, Dick.
Muchas gracias, El Gran Jefe. We always tease you, but we always thought you were the great general who took good care of us, and we thank you for giving us the opportunity to do such good work for all the women and their families in all these countries that you allowed us to go to.
Tonight and always, I'm very proud of you, and I love you very much.